Of course, Ricky has come in. Ricky, it's good to see you.
Ricky Gervais.
Just before we were just talking when the break was ending about you did shoot your special and how hard it is to shoot the special and then go out and you tour because now all the shows after are even better.
Because they get better anyway. You think of little things, you revisit it, you're relaxed because you know, well, that's in the can.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, oh, I wish I'd have taped that night. Oh, I wish I'd have taped tonight. But then it would be the same because I've never taped a special when it was probably the best gig of the tour. You know, and how can you do that?
Yeah.
You know, it's in the ballpark. It's fine. It's good.
It's one of the better ones.
I think
right?
so. I think so. And I did it at the end of the longest run. You know, I did it at the end of like 14 in London. So it's there.
Yeah.
But you just act differently when you're being filmed. You're being observed. You know, and you think, did I do that? Was that fast or slow? Was that slower or was that good? Was you know? And to anyone else, they couldn't tell the difference. But the only way to do it is to film everyone and not be told someone's filming it.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, you filmed tonight. Oh, tonight was amazing.
Thank God.
Yeah. I know.
I was wondering why that guy was. I thought he was trying to shoot me. That was a camera he was holding on.
Exactly.
Oh, that makes sense.
Unless you get really egotistical and you put out a DVD box set of the entire tour.
Yes.
Just because you're like, there's little differences that I think everybody should see all the shows.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I've done 28 Netflix specials. Yeah. You have to pay me for all of them.
Yeah. I did 28 specials this year.
Exactly, yeah.
Hey, when you the worst is when you start writing taglines for stuff that's already been shot, or when you start improving on bits. Like that's the worst because you filmed it, you can't redo it, and all of a sudden you think of like another minute and a half for a bit, and you're like, oh,
I already
fuck.
think it feels old. I already think I'm talking about stuff that you know, like a year ago. But actually, because the stuff I deal with isn't that topical. It isn't stuff that happened yesterday. It's sort of, you know, big iconic things. I don't think it will date as much. You know, if you do a topical show, the more topical something is, the more it dates.
It does date.
You know, so you know, when you're dealing with AIDS, famine, the Holocaust, Hitler. You know, those things last.
Yeah,
right?
thank God for that. You know, with comedy, they're endless.
They're always good.
Hitler is what's known as evergreen.
I think so. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He'll always be there.
I did Berlin, and I got a big Hitler bit. I always have. There's always something new to say about Hitler. And I started it, and it was Berlin, and I went, let's talk about Hitler. And it went better than anywhere else.
Really?
Of course, because they go, oh, good, someone's not skirting the issue, someone's not... Like, I think people think they go to Berlin and go, oh, I mustn't talk about Hitler, he's probably a bit of a hero there. He's not a bit of a hero. He's like,
but they're really sensitive about it. Like, isn't like... a lot of the Nazi stuff is totally illegal. Well,
you can't do the Hitler salute, but that's for different reasons. That's not good. Oh, stop taking the piss out of Hitler. That's because, you know,
you have to nod to hail a cab.
Exactly. Yeah,
you couldn't goose step on stage.
You're not allowed. You're not allowed.
But
I did. You know, I did it, and it's in context. But it's a whole generation. It's like, are you still embarrassed by Nixon? Of course you're not. You know, if someone said, "Oh, Nixon," you go, "Okay, dude." It still hurts, but you know, let's not bring up. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
Nixon, but Nixon wasn't quite as.
I shouldn't have
not
compared
quite the,
Nixon to Hitler.
Bit of an underachiever.
Well, Nixon did lie. Nixon did lie.
You shouldn't feel guilty about the deeds of your forefathers.
Sure.
You know, you should acknowledge them, but it's not. You know, these people weren't born. It's all your fault. You know.
Although we are still very sensitive about slavery in the United States.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those topics that are like, if you're going to joke about slavery, you got to be really, really careful.
Well, yeah, no, that's true of any sort of terrible thing that happens. You should be careful. But when you say we, you mean collectively you as a historic government. You don't mean you.
Like the people.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Me and Jim.
Yeah.
Me and Jim. Yeah,
Don't bring it up here on the show.
Yeah, you should see how we treat these people, our employees.
Well, exactly. You know. So yeah, but
yeah.
I was my favourite tour. It's nearly over. My favourite tour, my favourite special, easily.
Will you go back on the road, or do you like to relax for a little while?
I honestly can't wait. I can't wait for this to be over because I've already got a bag of ideas for my next one, and that's never happened. You know, because I could consider myself a stand-up now. You know, it took 15 years to get good. That shouldn't be a revelation, but it does. It took me 15 years to get good. You know, surprise, surprise.
Well, are you already starting the new material? Because you can start it now.
Well, I want to. Yeah, I've for the first time ever, I've started making notes as well. For like 20 years, if I come up with something funny, that'd be it. It would just go. You know, I didn't write it down. I don't have a dictaphone. I don't. And then come the time do a special, I say, now what have I said that's funny in the last 3 years? You know, so yeah, I've already got like I could go out and do a 10-minute warm up. But I just can't wait.
Why don't you hire a guy just to film you, like with a GoPro, or hire someone just to write down the stuff you say, like not to improve on it or fix it, but just to jot down the stuff you say, so you have like almost like a visual.
Well, I do it now. I do send a little email to myself, and I've got a little bag of things, so I do it, and it's it's really like, and I don't want to write it because I think that's what I did with the first 4 specials. I sort of wrote them like an Edinburgh show or a lecture or something, and then went and sort of did them like an actor. And with Humanity, I wandered out on the stage with a couple of things written on the back of my hand, and you might arrive at the same place, but the process is different. It's more organic and it's realer, and I just think it resonates more. I think you can tell the difference. Right?
My memory stinks though. I talk stuff into my iPhone all the time. My memory is so bad that I look at my phone and go, "Fuck, I forgot this, I forgot that." Like I forget half my stuff.
It's usually one idea that then. This is the biggest revelation that I found out. If you spend 100 hours writing something, you've still got to do it. It doesn't give you any advantage, right? Whereas if you spend 100 hours practicing something in front of an audience, that is going to fly. You could start with shit, and after 100 hours of just saying it and cut into the laughs, you'll have a great show. Whereas you don't know when you write something; it's still got to be. It's to be performed.
You can spend all those hours writing and writing and writing. Okay, it's finally ready, and then you get up in front of an audience, and it sucks.
Well, it won't work.
Right.
The greatest jokes ever written, done the first time, are not as good as the poorest jokes done 100 times and honed, and it's just not. You can laugh at the concept, and there's something there, but it's being ring fit. It's your eye on the ball. It is practice.
It's hard, to keep the I had my apartment flooded recently, so I was talking about it on stage, and for the first few nights, because I still had the emotion attached to it, I was all fucked up about it, I was nervous about it, and it rang true.
Yeah.
But then it's like 2 weeks later, I had to chop it down a little, because some parts of it, I just couldn't muster up the energy to pretend this is real.
Well, I can do that, but it's still, when it first happens, the first time you say something, like an ad lib, right? The next night you try and do it, it's not as good, but then you can get it as good again by just, you got to trust it, I think. You got to trust the words and the practice. It's like a science. It either works or it doesn't.
Yeah, I tend to not trust it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've got that guilt thing. I think am I lying? They can laugh. I can feel guilty that I've lied to them. So I try and get more and more honest. That's what
if the laugh is coming from a lie, you're cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have cut out jokes that are that are obviously lies or surreal or something, because I don't think the true stories aren't true.
Right.
So when I say something's true, it really is.
The obvious lies feel embarrassing, though. Like the ones that are so I was doing this, and they're like, no, you weren't.
No, you weren't. But I know that immediately. Do you know when you can really tell that as well? Is when comedians who use writers.
Right.
When they go, so I was on the... No, you weren't. I can tell already you weren't.
Yeah.
I can tell already you weren't.
Like a giant celebrity is like, oh man, the other day I was on the subway. And it's like,
Yeah.
What?
No,
That would have been
exactly.
a mob scene. You weren't on any
that's
subway.
exactly it, yeah. So I have to embrace the fact that, that they know I'm probably not signing on welfare and taking tube rides. And do you know what I mean?
You kind of have to speak to your truth.
Exactly.
Not the truth of let me go from the perspective of the audience.
Well, I think even if it's a great observation, isn't it funny when, if you say this is a true story, my sister, I'm already engaged. If I think this really happened,
right,
that's better than the nebulous. Isn't it funny when?
Yeah,
it's sort of like, it's not I don't know. I want that real one small story.
Well, it's funny to know that something actually happened to a person, as opposed to, oh, this guy is just good at coming up with concepts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing funnier than a thing happening to a person.
Also, it's harder to be ripped off as well. If you do general observations or puns, anyone can just take it and use it.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's really your story, that's really hard to rip off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The coincidence is too great for you to go, hold on, that's what happened to so-and-so. That's not yours.
I also find, too, when I'm doing real thoughts or real stories, a lot of times it's harder to find, the big bang punchline, because a true story, and a lot of times in life, the punchline doesn't end what occurred. So a lot of times the fucking great funny part of it, there's still a minute and a half left of true story. And it's
yeah,
I have to fix that.
Yeah,
that sucks.
I keep telling the story.
No one cares.
I suppose you want it to be lean as well, don't you? That you could go on and get more out of it, but is that the best, laughs per unit time? You want to get a good average, don't you? Yeah, and I think sometimes you want to leave them on
A high note.
punchline is great, yeah.
Yeah,
and then
and-
start again.
In a flood story, nobody wants to hear, and then the super came up, and luckily it was the pipe, so it's a building issue. Fucking boom.
Because you want to convince yourself that you're so interesting as a person that people are going to laugh at your joke and then go, no, Jim, but what happened to the pipes?
Yeah, like they're going to walk out and go, well, was it this homeowner's insurance or the building cover it, for Christ's sake?
But no, what really happened at the end?
I'm always fascinated when people can tell you an anecdote and it is not an anecdote. It's not a story. They go, I went to the shops, right? I thought I'd run out of cereal, right? So I thought, oh God, and look, I hadn't run out. I didn't have to go in the end. And you think, why have you told me that? Why have you told?
Yeah, that whole chunk.
It's not a story. That doesn't need to ever to be told.
Right.
It happened once to you. Like people tell you their dreams. Right. I had a weird dream. No, to you, to me, nothing. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It can't. It's not interesting to me.
It's not weird. That's just like saying, hey, you want to hear a thing I just made up? No. No, I don't.
That's what comedians do. You walk out and say, hey, do you want to hear a thing I just made up? Yeah.
Well, the worst is when somebody writes poetry. And they want to share their. You're like, I'm working on this poem. And you're like, oh.
Oh, that honestly, someone did a poem to me once. Right, it was a friend of a friend, and it was around my place, right. And he said, "I've just written a poem." I said, "I think you'd be interested in it." And he told it to me, right, and it was so intense, right? And Jane was in the next room, and she said she could feel me cringing, right? And it was the worst, most pretentious sort of 23-year-old poem. I won't say who it was. I can't remember his name, right? But it ended with right. Think of the poem that this ends with. Mm-hmm. Poor bird. Poor bird.
No.
That's how it ended.
No. Poor bird?
Poor bird. Poor bird.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Somebody's seen what.
Because he's got to repeat himself because poor bird is such a heavy statement after what he's told you. No, like, let that sink in. I'll say it again.
The embarrassing things that he'll tell you. What do you think of this? Yeah.
You have to lie though. It's hard to be honest and tell someone like your inner thoughts, your inner poetry and artist is garbage. It's hard to tell somebody.
Oh, you can't. No, you can't. You can't. That's really interesting. Yeah. No, so you should keep.
Excalibur. Stab you with my cock.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. That's what that came from. That intense. Because that was one-on-one. That's what was intense about it. That it's like someone got to tell my poetry and it's just too intense. It's too close. Tell me over the phone. Go away. Call me from a call box, right, and tell me the poem because I can't have you in the room.
But what you just said is like a dead giveaway. When you respond to the poem by saying, yeah, man, that was good. Keep at it. As opposed to actually talking about the poem.
I know.
That means it's a shit poem.
Well, what I wanted to do was go, please leave before I kill you. I don't want to go to jail. And if you do another poem, I'm going to stab you in the throat, mate.
Yeah, you got to go.
I'm embarrassed. I want to kill you. I want to kill you for making me sit through that.
How long was it?
It was, you know what? It was probably like 16 lines, right? But the intensity when someone looking at you as they're saying it, and all the emotions about themselves. Someone telling you emotions about something. This is a poem about me. What I went through. Oh, fuck me. Let's forget it. Let's not do it.
You're embarrassed for them.
I'm embarrassed for them, and I can't. And that's what I can't cope with. I'm not embarrassed for me. I'm always embarrassed for other people.
I admire people who don't have that. I mean, a lot of times they're called sociopaths. People who are not embarrassed for other people, I envy them so much because they're more honest and they save themselves a lot of grief and bullshit because they don't do those socially honorable things. They go, nah, I don't want to hear it.
The number of times that I'm probably going to have a heart attack, all those little bits of adrenaline and feeling bad for someone and cringing for them, that's all mounted up, and it's probably taken about a year off my life.
Yeah.
Over the years of all those, and the worst thing is, if you're in a group of people and everyone's like making a joke and then someone makes a crap joke and you go, oh, fuck. And everyone, no, it's nothing. You know, when you're laughing so much, you think, I'm never going to stop laughing at this. And the only is someone making a slightly crap joke. And that kills it.
The best is calling them out on it, though. If it's the situation where you can call them out, It feels fun though. That can get a huge
know.
laugh, or it can be
But
terribly
I felt
uncomfortable.
that in here when you fucking jump on some Rich Voss or something in front of me. I know that's the game.
Sure.
Yeah. And you know, I grew up with that, but it's sort of like I can't take it now. I can't. I feel. I don't want anyone to go through pain.
I only
funny
want
'cause,
them
like-
to bomb.
I know.
You'll be kind of laughing and like smiling and just trying to go along with it and just moving the conversation along. But every time Jim and me will just look at each other like, did Voss just say that?
I know, but I can't. I don't want to confront them because I can't. And he's a bad example because he's really funny. And
He's
I know,
great,
I know you're teasing him.
Yeah.
But that, you know, in a group when someone isn't funny, it's
Yeah.
just too intense. It's too intense.
We talked this morning when I came in. I'm historically, and this is me being a codependent, where I'm very, very bad at small talk. I don't know if you're good at it. I'm awful at it.
I hate it, but I have to do it again to save them. You know what I mean? A cashier says cold, and I don't want to go fuck off, boring.
Yeah.
You know, I go, it is, yeah, it's murder, isn't it? Oh, so she'll get better by. You have to do it, and you feel, you know.
But it is bailing them out from the honest moment of going, no.
But somebody needed to bail Jim out because we could speak about this conceptually, but when your response is even worse than their awful
Because I'm
observation,
bad at it. I'm terrible.
Oh, that's lovely.
I mean, that's what.
Now I'm excited.
Okay.
That's great.
So I'm not going to tell you. A security guard downstairs. Jim came in with his luggage today,
Yeah.
and a security guard downstairs. What did he say? I don't want to.
I was carrying my luggage,
Yeah.
and he goes, a bag of cash?
which is terrible, right?
It's not a good joke.
It's terrible.
Yeah. He might be listening to this.
Yeah, but,
I
well,
hope
look,
he
he's
is with a
gotta
rope
learn.
around his neck.
He's got to
Just kicking out the stool. as he-
Hey Jeff, sit down. Now you're a great security guy. You're a black belt in jiu-jitsu, judo, karate. You're great. You've taken a bullet, I remember. But don't ever make a fucking bad joke like that again, because you are out of here, dude.
Yeah.
That is shit.
We
right?
can't take that.
We can't take that.
cannot
Yeah,
take
I'd
it.
rather fight you, Jeff. Right.
Bag of cash?
It's bag of cash. I know.
But
Right. Go on.
Well, sometimes when you have 28 years of stand-up to fall back on, I said, I just panicked. I have nothing.
I love this. You can go out in front of like 10,000 people and perform.
That's what I said.
But the security man saying bag of cash, you sweat.
I stink at it. For
Right.
no, I'm terrible.
I love this.
so he comes by. He's like, he goes, "Oh, bag of cash."
And I went, yeah, payout for the guys.
I don't even get that.
So it doesn't make sense.
I meant that I was going to pay the guys. I don't know.
I don't know what
Pay
that
out
is.
for the guys.
That's the best. That's the best.
Look at you.
Oh, because if I'd have been with you as well and you'd done that, I'd have just stayed silent. I couldn't have even brought up the awkwardness. I wouldn't have wanted, because I'd have known that was awkward for you, and you'd have thought, oh, fuck me, why did I say that?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Bag of cash. Pay out for the guys.
Pay out for the guys.
Just silence. Just
And he gave me a polite, but I told
Even
Sam
the
I
guy who made the bad observation was looking at Jim like, "Why would you respond like that?"
I told what I should have done is just been honest. Like, you know, hey, a bag of cash? No, just some shoes and socks and luggage.
Yeah.
Just told the truth.
well,
Just my luggage.
right,
no, it's just luggage.
where I used to work, a friend of mine. You know that thing when you go in with a suit, right? And there was the porter, and the porter would always say, "Oh, been to a funeral," right?
Sure.
And my friend Glyn had just been to a funeral, right? He'd just buried his auntie or something, and he came in. And the porter went, "Oh, been to a funeral?" He went, "Yeah." He went, and walked away. he just hadn't listened. He hadn't listened to the answer.
Didn't care.
Yeah. Hey, listen, one day they are going to have been to a funeral.
He thought that was the joke response, though. He was kidding.
He's just trying to get his line off and then go on with his day.
I know,
Yeah, my grandmother shot herself.
All right, buddy.
See you later.
Yeah,
See you
that's it.
later.
Good one.
I'm
Banter,
leaving.
a little bit of banter. Yeah.
But there's an art to it, and some people are masterful at that little banter, and it's a real social lubricant. And I'm not awful at it on purpose. I just can't do it. I've never been able to do it.
Successful people usually know how to do it.
They probably do.
I know. I got that little thing where I was on a chat show once, and they said, "Oh, you've lost a lot of weight. How'd you do it?" I said, "AIDS." And he looked really shocked.
Well, yeah. When you're hearing somebody tell the truth.
I know, it's just, but that's the thing, isn't it? Just say the worst thing back.
Yeah,
It's
just
the
immediately.
worst.
No explanation.
thing.
AIDS.
Yeah.
Should I be saying I'm
Didn't
sorry?
take long, did it? Hitler and AIDS. That was.
I was gonna. When
Who
you
was
were,
that comedian that was on? He said we were talking about having kids. He said I'd rather have AIDS than kids.
Oh,
It's just a great thing to
was
say.
it Ari?
I'm going to guess it
that
might have been
sounds
Ari
like it was
Shafir.
Ari
It sounds like
Shafir.
something in Ari sentiment.
Yeah.
God.
I was going to ask you, when you were talking about ripping people off, it reminded me. Have you watched Black Mirror?
Oh no, I haven't. But it's
Have you seen the thing?
the one about the body that we did on the podcast?
There's like a couple of them.
No, I have. I've heard it. Everyone. Yeah, everyone tweeted me.
There's YouTube
I didn't see
stuff.
that one.
So
Shit.
there's Carl from Ricky's podcast, from the old podcast, predicted episodes of Black Mirror. Like they took, or the people who make Black Mirror
Are fans.
heard this
Well,
thing.
I think that's more likely because Carl had a thing that he wished that when you went to the doctor could put you in a thing, and the doctor could feel what you were feeling, so he'd know because it's hard to describe the pain. And that was it. And I was going, so hold on, how would this work? Right? He had other ideas, like he said, I've invented something. I go, what? He said, see-through skin. Well, we can't do it. You can't say I've invented something and then go, oh, I don't know the details yet, but just get on with it.
Right.
You know. So. It's mental stuff he came up with, so it was perfect for this. But yeah, I didn't see it, but everyone said
I'm in the middle of that one now. Actually, the doctor who has the thing in his neck. It's really fascinating.
It's just funny because on the YouTube video, like they take from the podcast and the animated series, and they show like the setup for it, and then they show it in the episode, and then they show like you and Steven going like, why would it do this? And then Carl explains this, and then they show it in the episode. Yeah,
well, that's good.
Yeah.
I just had a medical, right? I have it every year, right? And I asked the doctor, right, why still the finger? And they've got now what is it called? Where they can tell if you've got prostate problems from a urine test. He went, but that only is one side of it. Where you can tell if it's started, it's early so the finger's never going away. The finger is never going away.
Oh, you were saying why do you still? Oh, I thought you wanted an upgrade.
All this stuff, they was taking blood samples, and they were showing everything. But then he said, "No, I've got to stick my finger up your ass."
Oh,
right?
you said why still the finger?
Why still the finger? Yeah, and it's just not going away. They always need someone to feel it first because it's early stages and that. So
yeah, and you fidget around in there.
That sounds like there's some doctors though that want to hold back some technology because they really I think manually is the way to do this.
Well, I go there every year, and it's always and this guy is a big guy as well, and I thought, well, he's gonna have a fucking huge finger.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it, and it's not the worst thing. The testicles, no, the testicles are worse now as well because they seem to hurt more. I don't know if I'm more sensitive or because I'm thinking about it, they sort of shrink. So he has to dig in now and get my balls out of
They shrink up
like a little turtle going into their shell. You know what I mean?
Testicles,
yeah, because I'm so nervous now about a fucking squeeze.
The skin kind of hornet's nest up against your
honestly,
body.
he has to dig them out now.
I've heard about like somebody's dick like going back in when they get nervous or cold or whatever. I've never heard of somebody's testicles going back into their body.
It must be a nervous reaction. I don't know. Which is odd because my testicles are longer and stretchier than they've ever been.
But
so they should be easy. I mean, he could probably do it from across the other side of the room. But no, they were shrunk. So how old are you now?
I'm 49.
So you've got to start having the finger soon.
Yeah, I've got it.
And I don't mean socially anymore.
Exactly. No, I know.
Jim's prostate is fine. It's been checked and checked again.
I got a downgrade from the fist. I have to.
The prostate just fell out. We can see it. It's on the floor, Jim.
No, I went for a colonoscopy recently, even though I was a little young, just to do it and make sure everything was okay. I'm paranoid about that. So yeah, I get checked once a year. It's all good.
Yeah, that's good. Apparently,
Jim's asshole has an echo.
Yeah,
because it's been noticed.
Yeah, good point.
Oh,
you know,
again. So hold on. Let me just tick this off. So we've done AIDS, Hitler, Jim having things shoved up his arse that shouldn't be shoved up his arse.
That's true.
That's the three big ones, isn't it?
Nah, but don't forget cancer, pedophilia is still on the docket.
That's right. I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just got to do, and I don't even mind
I know.
it.
It's still awkward though. It's just still awkward. And so I joke about it. And he said, no, can I give you I said, yep, let's do it. Like that, right? Don't want to talk about it. And he said, now, do you need a chaperone? I went, no. And I went, that'd be worse, right? And he just started laughing. I said, it's bad enough what you're doing. I said, but you've got a mate watching now. I said, that's got to be worse, hasn't it? Sean, can you come in? I'm just going to stick my finger up a lad's arse, and he wants someone watching. He wants to actually say it like that. I don't want someone watching. You said, can I have a chaperone?
The next time that happens, you should say yes, and when the guy comes in, hand him your iPhone. With the, film it.
Film this.
Yeah.
Facebook Live. Get a few hits, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, throw it up on Instagram.
You're young, aren't you? How old are you?
I'm 34.
So you've never had a doctor in an
Put his
official...
finger up there. I don't think. No.
No.
Well, yeah. What age do you start that? It's not. Is it 50 or before that?
Well, I think
50.
50. I think so, yeah. Because at 50, testicular cancer, not much of a problem anymore. Prostate cancer, ooh, here we come.
Really?
It's a crossover on the graph, yeah. When you're young, it's
the other way around.
Testicles. Don't worry about the prostate. Right now it's the other way around. So
I think testicular cancer is easier to deal
easy,
with.
best. Someone doctor said it's the best one to get.
Yeah.
We just get you pop one out, right?
Top it out, and they can put a fake one in, or you can just leave it
they
like
can
an
zap
elephant
it.
ear.
It's not a problem because I think it's pretty isolated. It's
Right.
the difficult ones are where it's like liver, that's everywhere. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I do. He says, "What are you worried about?" I said every cancer, heart and lungs. I think I'm doing well, but every cancer, things like And he went, "Okay." Right. I sound mad in front of a doctor because I'm so honest.
Yeah.
I go. I wake up and it's good. And if I've got a lump, I say I'm going to die, Jane. And he goes, okay. And you must be thinking that this is a mental case. This is, yeah.
But he's just all like doctoral.
It's because I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm nervous for that hour, and I think I talk fast. Even I'm here when I'm being examined. I think if I talk, they're not going to find anything wrong with me. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I think
all I have to do is wait out the hour,
yeah,
right?
like putting off a teacher.
Right.
Like you ask, tell us about your motorbike, sir. Before you know it, that's the end of the lesson.
Yeah, you're just looking at the clock, 3
Exactly.
o'clock, 3 o'clock.
And he was taking my heart, and I was talking. He was going, "You've got to shut up." He said, "You've got to shut up." I went, "Sorry," because I'm nervous.
So
Wow.
let me when you go for something like that, they have these like executive physicals. They cost a lot, but you can go where you spend like the whole day where they can check you for every type of cancer and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
I know someone had that done. It's 10 grand, I think, and they put you in the machine, and it goes through your body.
And checks for everything?
You can't like
Everything.
Tron. It's just like, you're in this thing, and absolutely everything.
Lungs, heart, you want blood work, like all that stuff.
Yeah, because usually they're specific tests, so you can't have a blood test. They don't find everything because they're not looking for everything. They're looking for
Right.
one thing. They're looking for diabetes or something. But then you have to do. It's like there's no one. There's like 100 tests.
How often do you have to go back, though? Like, once you get the whole everything checked, like, are you good for 10 years?
No, me.
Well, you probably find
year.
something, wouldn't you? That like even I find they say things like, "Oh yeah, your cholesterol's it's just in the safe zone, but watch that." Or diabetes, yeah, you've got a 3% chance, but watch that. It's just like you're meant to do something. I never do.
No.
It's like I know. The doctor's saying you should stretch more. You should probably cut down on wine. I go, I know the rules, and he just laughed. I said, I'm doing this on purpose. I know the rules. It's not like I want to say to a doctor, no, what are you going to do about it? I'm going to carry on drinking too much wine and eating too much cheese. What are you going to do about it? You've got to save my life without me giving up wine. This is your job,
Yeah,
mate.
give me a pill I can take or
Yeah.
something that will
Absolutely.
counterbalance my
Yeah,
shitty behavior.
Exactly. Like,
Well, that's why it's fun. That's one of the fun things about living right now, that we've come from so long with presidents and first ladies and stuff being obsessed with nutrition and exercise and diet.
Yeah.
And this week, the White House doctor comes up and he goes, the president could stand to lose some weight, but he doesn't like to diet or exercise.
But
So-
that guy, that poor doctor, was forced out there to say how fit and tall he is, right? It looked like a hostage video, didn't it? His mouth was dry. He was looking to the left. I could just imagine a gun coming in and going, no, he's really fit and tall. He's tall. He's about 6'8", I'd say. For his height, he's perfect. I mean, I want that doctor.
people did notice the sweating that was happening. There was
I
some
know.
sweating.
It was so ridiculous. Apparently, if they do the stats, the equation to his actual height, which is 6'2", he comes out as a beast.
That's
Yes,
yeah.
on the driver's license.
Exactly, yeah.
But he's
Yes,
6'3",
Yeah.
according to the White House. So I think at 6'3", he's 1 pound shy
Exactly.
of being obese.
Yeah.
Which, congratulations.
So will I be 6'3" when I'm 70 then? Because I'm. You obviously get taller.
Taller.
as you go.
yeah, that's generally what happens.
Yeah, I know. But I do. If there was some sort of pill, right? You took a pill, and then for an hour you shat and vomited and you bled from and then they scraped you off and you were clean. Wouldn't that be great?
Absolutely.
It was the
All
most
the
painful
toxins
hour.
just- yeah.
It was like and they just came at you. It was like something out of a horror film. But
then you were fine for a while.
Then you were real fine. It was just amazing. So I've invented that then.
That's good.
The pill that makes you shit and vomit and bleed for an hour. Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm performing in St. Louis tomorrow night.
How was England?
It was great, thank you. It was really great. Your recommendation was awesome.
Yeah, I love that place.
I did 2 shows in London, 1 in Dublin, and 1 in Manchester. I fucking loved it.
That's
amazing.
3 great places there because Manchester's always good. Dublin is incredible, isn't it? It's like it's Saturday night every night of the week, isn't it? Except Saturday, and that's like New Year's Eve. Yeah, it's amazing.
I met a guy. I met a guy walking. He yelled, "Jim Norton!" And it was a big Jim and Sam show. And I'm looking for a place to eat. He goes, "Hop in." So I just hopped into a stranger's truck in Dublin, and he drove me to a place to eat. It was so bizarre.
Of course you did.
Talking about all the radio things he liked and didn't like.
Beginning of those weird 70s films. Yeah. It's just, no one speaks for the first half an hour.
Don't you love that we just went from like, I was so nervous because the security guard said hello to, I was in a foreign country in another continent, and some guy in a truck asked if I wanted to jump in, and I was like, yeah. And
I jumped in, but it was fun. I loved it, man. I loved it over there. It was so much fun. The gigs were great. It was the same as...
You're a trusting guy.
Did you do an old show that you haven't done there?
No, I just did the current set that I'm doing. I didn't do what's on Netflix. I did the current set I'm doing.
Oh, right.
Which is just my current hour.
And so when you say current hour, you've worked that up to an hour, which you do. Now, I think times are reverting again now because between sort of DVDs sort of fading a little bit and Netflix dominating the universe, it was all about gigging again. But now it's like gig until you can get your special on and then start again. Yeah, because by the time I'm ready, I won't shoot. I'll probably hopefully shoot within the next year at some point. But I get so bored, I don't want to do the material anyway. So I love to just get it on film and then just drop it. I'm done. As soon as it's on film, I'm done. I mean, there's really something lovely about having an hour with no pressure that you can do a gig tomorrow if someone calls you up and says, you know what I mean? Or you can. I used it once my hour was up. You know, me and Jane just had a little holiday for the weekend. I played an arena in Copenhagen, and we had a weekend in Copenhagen. You know what I mean? So it was just lovely license to just fly around the world, and and the gigs pay for your vacation, basically. Oh God, yeah. But I mean, even a warm up would really, if you think the relative cost, how many people paying that to a flight and a hotel? Sure, I could do it. I could go there for warm ups in 400 seaters if I wanted to. So it is an amazing. I don't know, not skill set, but an amazing asset to have. The fact that you're a working comedian and you can just pop up and play wherever you want. It's incredible. It is, and I've been branching out and doing a lot more places, and I finally did. Like I said, Bill Burr got in my ear, and I credit him a lot, and you were in my ear, and there's a whole bunch of people that just try it, just do it, and it was great. I'd go back to London in a second. I love it. The next thing, I think you've done it as well, but my newest discovery over the last few years is Scandinavia. First of all, their English is better than ours. Yes. They're every place, Stockholm, Copenhagen, Oslo, Reykjavik. They're beautiful. It's affluent. They're liberal. They're arty. They're up for it. They go out. It's honestly, it's like it's a dream for a comedian. I didn't draw. I did okay in Oslo with the draw. I did the one show I almost canceled turned out to be the best one, which was Copenhagen. Turned out to be the best show, and I was like, I loved it as well. Tickets sold last minute, and it was the best show I did out of that entire run. I hadn't played that before, and it's probably one of my favorite places in the world now. There's no air conditioning in Europe, though. The hotels, going in the summer, a lot of them are older buildings, and I didn't realize they don't have air conditioning. He goes into the Sistine Chapel and goes, "A bit warm in here." Absolutely. Yeah, but look at the ceiling, dude. Bit warm in here. Yeah. I wanted to, but I'm a gentleman who requires air conditioning. I like a cooler environment. I know. I stayed in a couple of places in the summer in England, and you wouldn't think that was a problem, but it is. We do get up to the 90s now and again, and when you're staying in like castles or these stately homes, right, you can't complain there's no air conditioning. You know what I mean?
These like classic buildings that are like these architectural amazing.
Exactly, and
you're like, it's so hot though.
I know. And what the Wi-Fi? What did Henry VIII do for Wi-Fi?
Do you have FiOS here or just regular cable?
I actually stayed in a room that Henry VIII stayed in when the castle was 7 years old. I stayed in this place called Thornbury Castle, and I had his room, and it was a real fire, and this 4-post the bed, and I was thinking, there's the hot Wi-Fi. It's awful. It's on. It's in and out. It's in and out. You know,
It's not quite a solid
The Wi-Fi
signal.
is not very good. Yeah, it is amazing, but
I know. Yeah.
It's in and out.
yeah, but you do bitch. And then Louis' great bit on you're in a chair in the sky about flying.
Exactly.
But I've
thing.
caught myself so many times wanting to complain about the Wi-Fi or whatever. And I'm like, technically you go back to that bit. It's one of those bits that you just keep going back to and going, yeah, he's right.
I know. The thing that curbs me now, I do want to complain about the slightest thing. I am spoiled, and I talk about it in Humanity.
Sure.
Right? But being famous curbs that, because I don't want to be on YouTube complaining, or
Right.
I don't want to hear one gossip thing about me. Oh, he was a bit arsey. So I can't complain anymore. And I also think
The
that
internet's holding us hostage.
it is. I think yeah.
It's also stopping us from acting like total assholes half the time too.
I know. Well, exactly, and I think that's good.
Yes.
Really, it does. If anything, that makes you a better person. You know, some people think God's watching them. You know, and I know YouTube is watching me, so I don't send the suit back. I also think that I got to that age where now I think that they could be having a bad day. If a waiter or a driver or something makes a mistake, he could have just found out his fucking wife's got cancer or something. And I'm going, well, never mind that. There's no reason to be late. You know?
Well, you know, I mean,
You are a waiter at the end of the day. I know that's your family life.
playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I mean, that is sad news, but there's no reason you should have cold soup.
Exactly.
Because she smokes.
It's funny when you're in the moment, you're not rational. You just think, why me?
Right.
Why me?
Were you ever an asshole before the internet was quite so prevalent? Like, would you have your moments?
No, because again, I didn't feel privileged. I never thought, well, that I deserve more than anyone else. Obviously, I do now.
Yeah, of course, as you should.
But I'd never thought that. I thought we were all in the
We're
game.
all in
And
this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd never really. I never really went through that. But I remember once that I was newly famous after The Office, and there was a trouble with a bill. They kept sending me the wrong fucking bill. It was electricity or phone or something. So I called up and I thought, I'm going to really I was fuming, right? And I waited and waited, so I'm really agitated now. She went, hello, can I help you? I went, yeah. It's the third time. She went, oh, can I just have your details? And I went, Ricky Gervais. She went, oh, what, from The Office? I said, oh, I love that show. I went, cheers. She went, well, how can I help you? I went, oh, it's no big deal. Just maybe, you know what I mean? I can't go crazy at someone. It's like in a restaurant, right? If two people are like eating, that annoys me. So I'm fuming. I'm looking. I'm going, they're eating loudly, or they're just chumming on their bread, right? And then one of them recognises me, and they sort of go, "Oh, big fan." That's it. I can't go. Well, stop fucking chewing with your mouth open, you pig. You know what I mean?
If you're a fan, act like it.
I am constantly surprised how little etiquette there is, and I'm a hypocrite. I sit at home, you know, and I can sneeze into the air and dribble food and all that, right? But in a restaurant, I don't know how people, even waiters, I've brought that and they've gone. I think, what the fuck are you doing, man? Why? Did no one ever tell you that is fucking disgusting?
I don't even understand. Like, just walking down the street, how people just breathe out of their mouths.
Mouth open,
Mouth open,
scuffling. Like, doesn't know if you're going the other direction. They don't say sorry when you do. They just go the other way. You want to go? What? How have you lived this long?
It's the holding the door when they don't say thank you. I've had fantasies about dragging them back through and slamming the glass in their fucking face.
I know. It's that fucking rudeness. It's that entitlement, you know. But then I think, well, maybe they found out their mum's got cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
What I do is I avoid those situations. I hate going through the door, holding the door. You know, I do it, but it's just awkward.
Well, don't expect a thank you. Might be it. Don't expect nothing. Just do it. And...
Of course, yeah.
Or if you don't get the thank you, just repeat the phrase to yourself. Hopefully his mom has cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully his mom has cancer.
Fucking hell.
Right?
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I sometimes think that a little... just to yourself,
Right?
Like if you get trolled on Twitter, someone says something nasty, then you look at their timeline and you go, "Oh my god, this guy should kill himself."
Yeah,
and then you're not angry at them anymore,
Right?
Because you suddenly realise it's like being shouted at by a fucking rat in a bin.
Right.
You can't get angry. You know what I mean? You've won, and I think that. You know, these people that walk around and they don't know how to breathe through their nose,
It's
right?
terrible.
Or live there. I think, well, they've already lost.
They
I
have.
don't need to. I don't need to punish them.
And it's those little things. You're like, if you haven't figured out how to shut your mouth when you're walking, there's no way that anything you've got going on is going to make me
won't do any good.
envious or proud of you or anything like that.
Yeah, someone sort of got an annoying voice. They've got a really annoying voice, or they laugh and they clap at the same time, and I'm giving them dirty looks. And Jane's saying they don't know why you're looking at them.
Right.
So I think looking at them, they go, "Oh, Ricky Gervais has looked at me. I better stop doing these." But they don't. They just think, So well, they should know. I want etiquette police. I want to report it, and someone goes over and says, "Sorry, your voice is so annoying. You have to stop talking like that."
But more and more people don't want to. I mean, it's what we were talking about when you first got here. You don't want to call people out on their stuff.
Yeah.
So people go through life doing these things that annoy everybody, but nobody's ever said anything to them.
Well,
and they
I
have
know,
no idea.
But I know I've got we were going past a restaurant the other day in the car, and I went, "Oh, that looks nice." Jane went, "Oh, we went there once." I went, "Oh, right." She said, "Yeah, we left because you said there was a cunt eating bread too loudly."
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Well, I won't go back there.
I know that's all I can do. I just have to leave. I just have to leave. There's no.
When there's what else can you do when there's a cunt eating bread?
Absolutely, you leave. Did you say that just to her, or did you scream it out the door?
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah, fucking hell, that cunt eating bread. Fucking we're leaving. Right, we're leaving.
People who are on their phones in public, in places like that. People just don't realize how hateable they are when they're behaving in a way that everybody kind of has to notice what you're doing, and it's unpleasant for all of us.
Oh, well, yeah, you mean like talking loudly?
On
I
the
don't know
phone.
how people, like on a train or something, they're, "Hi, John, yeah. Tell Sandra to, I think, I want to go, tell Sandra to, why do they think, why are they cool with saying their private things?
Or you hear them yelling, and you're like, I've been on a train, and they're yelling, and I'm like, hopefully it'll just be quick. And they go, "No, it's fine. I'm on a train. Everything's good." And you're like, "Oh my God, it's just going to go on forever."
Yeah.
He's just going to keep going.
I'm worried that they were thinking of bringing in mobiles on planes.
They talked about. I forget what airline they just talked about that.
That can't happen.
No,
That just
no,
can't
no.
happen.
It's the one. Even the Wi-Fi. I don't like Wi-Fi on airplanes.
Why?
I just love it
Oh,
being
it's
the
amazing.
only place.
Oh God!
where
There
you
was
were
once.
not
There was
connected.
There was a woman on. So it's first class. Doesn't get about. And years ago, there was a woman typing on a thing. So she's banging the keys. You don't need to bang the keys on a modern laptop, right? But she had bangles.
Oh my
Oh
God.
God! So I went to go to take the fucking bangles off.
Just playing the maracas.
I know,
while she's like,
I Anything annoys
And
me.
you're just sitting there like, this is first class. It doesn't
Right.
get any better than this, and
Right.
this is what I have to deal with.
Once, right, I got a regular driver. He's brilliant, right? It was freezing cold when he got a new jacket. Right, it was in London, right? He got a new jacket. He had a leather jacket, right, and it was squeaking. Right, so I had to tell my assistant to ask him not to wear that.
No.
It was brand new. And I went, "Oh, what can I do?" He went, "Ask her." So you can't tell someone their jacket's too squeaky, right? It was freezing cold, right? And I turned up that night and it had a different jacket. So I just think, what a little Lord Fauntleroy. His jacket's squeaking. Have him killed.
Your assistant told him to not wear the jacket anymore.
And he knew it came from you.
Yeah, like he thought, oh, yeah, that assistant doesn't like me squeaking.
Your assistant was like, "Hey, I was just thinking, for me, maybe you should not wear the jacket
Yeah,
anymore."
your jacket's a little loud. It's bothering Ricky.
But it is. But it's like I know it's my psychosis.
Right.
You know.
But-
I would have to ask someone to know. They had a bunch of keys, right, and it was in the car, right, and the keys were rattling. Can you take the key out? Well, no, the car has stopped.
No, yeah. Would never get anywhere.
I know. When you like things that.
I just love that the guy, like, he's probably really happy his new jacket.
I know.
He's just
I'm
showing
gonna
it
wear
off.
I'm going to wear it to work. I'm going to wear it out. Like, this is my new jacket.
But now I always either have my iPod with noise cancelling earphones or earplugs. I sometimes carry earplugs just so it takes down the. I know, I'm mental. I know.
Like you just put in earplugs.
Just in case someone's sniffing. Just you know, I think because then I think if someone's sniffing, right, and they're sitting there like that, okay, that's once, okay, right. I look at them, they don't know why I'm looking at them, right? Oh my God, I think I've just remembered something else I did once.
What did you do?
Oh, on a plane, right? There was this guy, right? He was about 50 years old, right? First class, right? And he went like that, right? Did it once, did it twice, right? And I said, do you need a tissue? He went, what? I said, do you need a tissue? He went, no. I went, oh, you do, because you're going like that, right? And I sat down and I straight away regretted. I think now I've got the whole fucking journey with this bloke, right? And then I said to Jane, what if he's mafia or something and he's going to be killed? So now all my bravery is...
He's going to put a hit on you because you told him to blow his nose.
Oh, no, it's Vinny the Nose.
Oh, God. Oh, it's Snot O'Shea. He has people killed for talking about... I know. And it's just, honestly... I'm a bag. I'm getting better now, though.
Are you?
I sort of am, because I go a bit zen. I think of something else.
So do you get
I straight away think, I try and think about, maybe the bloke's sniffing, but maybe you've got bone cancer, Rick.
Just back to cancer every time.
I know, yeah.
Well, we can all, he's annoying, but hopefully he's got cancer.
People who watch things with volume on in public, like in the airport.
No, that's unexcusable, because that's obvious, because you say that's what headphones are for.
Yeah.
I've been on trains where people are on speakerphone. Speakerphone on the train.
That's ridiculous.
It's insane.
No, that's ridiculous, because that's willful. There's no reason for that. That's not ambiguous.
We have 2 minutes left, by the way.
Oh.
Here's a dilemma. I was with a girl in a restaurant who I really wanted to have sex with,
Right.
and she started FaceTiming with
my God.
in the restaurant.
With who?
Just a friend of hers. She's
Right.
FaceTime, and I wanted to fuck her. So I was trying to, I wanted to go, get off the fucking phone. But I didn't say that. I was like, oh, come on, talk to me. And then she finally got off the phone. I was such a weasel.
You do
that was
like
humiliating.
passive-aggressive thing where you
Yeah,
really are
keep
upset.
FaceTiming.
Don't you want to just talk to me here?
She didn't know how close she came to not having sex with you.
Yeah, did you
Absolutely.
have sex with her?
Of course I did.
Good.
Yeah, please.
So it was a lucky escape for her. You know,
Well, I mean,
if she hadn't put that phone away,
She wouldn't have gotten the thrill of her life.
she wouldn't have had a sweaty turtle on her for 6 minutes.
Then she wouldn't have collected her fee.